we're going to start with compression. This thingamajig is called a rotary tablet press because it rotates. Can you guys see it? It rotates. Okay. So we've got a single station machine standing on the other side as well. This particular one has got 16 stations. You get these in up to 54 stations. Okay. So these machines, they can compress a lot of tablets and they can do it very fast. Just tell those guys over there to please tone down the volume. Okay. So on a 16 tablet machine, on this particular machine, I think I was running I think I was running either 4 or 8 stations, probably 8 stations, which is half capacity of this machine. I personally ran on this machine 1.2 million tablets in one day. Okay, so it can go very, very fast. So a couple of things that are important. This is your die table. This is where you put your dies in. Okay, that's this thingamajig. The dies look like this. Okay, now you get the dies in different shapes, but you also get the punches in different shapes. But the shaped ones are extremely expensive. Even these guys are very expensive. It's probably going to cost you about 30,000 Rand. Tell them to keep quiet or go away. Okay. It's probably going to cost you about 30,000 Rand to set up one station. So that's one top punch, one die, and one bottom punch. On 16, so you take 30,000 times 16, and you get an idea of how much it costs. Okay, so these are the dies. They go into the die table. I don't want to take the one that's in there out now. Okay, then you've got 2 punches that are required. Okay, these are what the 2 punches look like. These ones are dirty because we just finished a batch of asparphine on them now. But you will see this one has got a long neck. That one has got a short neck. The one with a long neck is the bottom punch. And the reason why the long neck punch goes in at the bottom, over here is at the loading station. Can you see over there? It lifts the tablet out. Okay, so that's why the bottom punch is always longer. This is your blocker for safety. Needs to go in there, and you've got to make sure that this thing is flush and flat. Then you push back on your punch. Once you've unloaded or loaded a set of punches, you must always rotate your machine 1 rotation by hand to make sure that everything is set up correctly. Okay, so top punch goes in there. Okay, and now we're going to do the complete rotation. Okay. And this is probably the most important safety procedure that you can do on this machine. Everything is fine. Okay. Then you close up here. And the reason why you have to close up is also for safety, because if you've got a loose jacket, a tie, loose hair, this thing is open, your hair goes in here, you will follow your hair and come out on the other side. It might not be good for your life expectations. Well, no more tests, no more exams, no more trouble. Okay, so then this thing has to be locked in place. Okay. And then you've got a couple of places on the machine which are very important. This region over here is where the powder is loaded or it flows into the dies. Okay. This particular station over here is where you adjust the hardness. I put a mark over there. Okay. And the interesting thing is that the adjustment is downstairs. So the adjustment is over here. Okay. And you will see I wrote on there, what did I write? Heavier and lighter. So if you push the lever away from you, the tablets become lighter. If you pull it towards you, they will become heavier. Okay? Then, so over here, you've got your mass determination over here on this particular station. And I just want to show you how it works. you've got on your blade, on your tablet die, let's pretend that this is your die table. You have got a scraper blade. Your punches are running through the bottom of the scraper blade, okay? But this scraper blade is adjustable. So if you want the tablet lighter, it'll make the punch go up and it'll scrape off more of the powder. If you want your tablet to be heavier, the punch goes down and you've got more powder compressed and the tablet becomes heavier. Okay, so that's this part. Then on this side of the machine, you've got your compression wheels. You can see the top one, the bottom one is hidden. Okay, but basically what it does, you've got these two compression wheels, and if you bring them closest to each other, you've got a harder tablet. You take them further apart from each other, your tablet goes softer. Okay, so it's very logic, very simple. The basics of it is actually quite fun. Okay, so step number one that we have to do is we need your powder. Okay, and this is just to do the basic setup of the machine. And your powder, we're going to pour it into the die. Okay? And the machine is going to do that, and you can take some pictures and whatever. Okay, so your powder is in there now, and then we take it to the place where we want to adjust the weight. Okay, so there we are going to adjust the weight, and now we actually want this to be level, and it looks like the adjustment is about right. Okay, then it goes over to the compression wheel, and we're going to compress this one. I'm going to compress this first tablet by hand, and when it comes underneath there, you need to put in a little bit of force, and there is tablet number one that comes out. So now this tablet, we have to check for hardness and for mass to make sure that we've got everything within spec. Okay. Couple of things about this machine. It is very dangerous. You've got to work with it carefully, and you've got to respect the machine. If you make a mistake, the chances of dying are pretty good. Loose hair, loose jackets, ties, things like that. This machine, this flywheel over here, is going to be spinning when we compress. If you've got a loose jacket, it grabs your jacket, smashes your head against the wall, no more problems. Okay, so I think the basic settings of the machine should be about okay. So what we're going to do now is we are going to put, this thing is called, it's got two names. It depends on which side of the Atlantic Ocean you are coming from. Come on. Okay, it is either known as a feed frame or a shoe. Okay, and that fits on here. Ilse, can you give me the hopper, the big hopper there? I think it's underneath the table. Or ask the fourth years. They were cleaning it last time. So what happens with this thing, this shoe or the feed frame actually guides your powder onto the machine and into the dies. So just want to see if I've got everything right there. Looks right. Okay. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to show you where the hopper fits and how it looks, but you've got to just turn this thing again, because you want to make sure that the punches don't hit or doesn't get stuck or whatever the case might be. And over here you've got a scraper blade, and what the scraper blade does is it actually scrapes the tablet. You will see that your punch is lifting there now, and then the blade will scrape it and your tablet will fall out. Okay, so yeah, this is the hopper. Okay, basically looks like a massive big funnel, and it fits on here. Okay, so what you do, or what they normally do, is we we pour the powder in at the top, or your granules at the top, that your tablet mix, and it feeds in here, goes around, compresses the tablets, and then keeps on filling up from here. Okay. Your flow is extremely important for how it runs out of here. That's why you have to check the flow. And then the other thing which is critically important, the compressibility that you guys check. It's going to tell you whether you're going to get a good tablet, yes or no. Okay. The guys at the Lennon plant in Port Elizabeth, I think they're now called Aspen, they've got a hopper like this on the floor above, and it comes through the roof into this one, and then they've got a handle, and they just open the handle to put more powder in there. And the last time I checked, these guys have got 7 machines doing panados. I think about a million panados per hour, per day, 7 days a week running. And they just keep filling up at the top, and at the bottom these guys are compressing and packing like you will not believe. Okay, so now we can't use the hopper for your experiments because you haven't got enough powder. We only made a small batch. Okay. Usually the batches, if I start working with a hopper, we're looking at batches of 500 to 2,000 tablets. That's about the minimum. And then depending on your tablet size, it will fill this hopper to about halfway through the window. Okay. We can go bigger, but usually that's enough to do the experimental work we want to. Goes in here at the front. So we're going to pretend to be a manual hopper for today. Okay. And now, as the punch moves, we'll see that the powder starts moving through the hopper. And at the back, if the scraper blade is nicely set, no, it's not. We had some students that didn't follow the instructions properly, and then they busted the feed frame for us nicely. Okay. Okay, and there comes your tablet. And now, if everything goes fine, it should actually slide down and fall off. If I can see it. Oh yeah, it's just being difficult. So that's how the machine basically works. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to need some of you guys to come and help me here, and we're going to need some of the guys to get the hardness right. Okay, what we do initially is we just do small batches, just 3 or 4 tablets at a time. Just check to see if we've got everything in spec. Once everything is in spec, the hardness and the mass is correct, we switch on and we run the batch, and you don't stop the machine. So while we're testing it, you guys have to move. Okay, you've got to move, because every tablet that comes out with a wrong tablet mass or a hardness is going to influence your results of your batch. Okay. Okay, I think for now stop here, because we are about ready. I just want to show you something else out here. Okay, so on a feed frame like this, if you make a mistake and you don't set up the machine correctly, these pieces get to shoot off the machine. One of our lecturers got hit by a piece of metal right underneath his eye over here. One of our other lecturers managed to compress a tablet from the bone of his finger. He says it makes a beautiful tablet, but the surgery is quite painful. Other problem that we've got, if you bust this stuff, it's very expensive. The last time I replaced this was about 15,000 Rand a piece, and it was about 10 years ago. So 15,000, 30,000, 45,000, 60,000, and it comes out of your class. Isn't that lovely? Okay. Other thing is, if you make a mistake with the punches, can you see that there's a piece broken out over here? Okay, this whole thing can actually shatter in this case. This piece of metal that came off this one is the one that hit the lecturer at on the cheekbone. Okay, so you've got to be very careful. If something goes wrong, stop the machine and run. Okay. Okay, so that's it. What I need is I need some people on that side to do for us the hardness test. And some people on this side. We're just going to do a run in now, stabilize everything, and I'm going to need somebody to feed the powder for us, but whoever does the feeding must work very consistently and not be in a rush, because if you rush, your tablet masses go like this. Okay, up and down and up and down.
So who's that? Most responsible person?
Yeah, who volunteers? You'll do it. Fantastic. Okay. You're going to be the feeder. Chicken. Okay. You can just come and help us. We need somebody to stand over here to record data as well. So we need a lab book. You can transfer it onto the batch documents later. But once we only start recording on the batch documents once everything is stabilized and the masses and the hardnesses and everything is over. Okay. Okay, let's get going. Okay.